परफेक्ट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स वाई आयोजित 6 दिवसांचं प्रॅक्टिकल बेस्ड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स अँड कम्प्युटर इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग.
पात्रता इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स आणि कम्प्युटरचे शिक्षण आवश्यक. बीई, डिप्लोमा, बीएससी, एमएससी झालेल्यांसाठी उपयुक्त.
या ट्रेनिंगमध्ये भरपूर प्रॅक्टिकल सह मुलाखतीची तयारी करून घेतली जाते, ज्यामुळे जॉब मिळणं सोपं जातं.
ट्रेनिंगसाठी संपर्क डॉक्टर ढेकळे, परफेक्ट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स MIDC वाई. मोबाईल 98 222 41 255.
Good morning, myself Dr. R.V. Dhekale, Perfect Electronics MIDC Y. Now we shall see the demo of switch mode power supply trainer kit. This is the operating manual of this trainer. By the use of this operating manual, anybody can do the experiments. This is the 9 pages operating manual. See. Now we shall see the construction of this switch mode power supply, that means SMPS. Now see, this is the high voltage section. See, this is shown by the red figure. It consists AC to 230 volts. If we measure voltage across this, that is the AC 230 volts. This AC 230 volt is applied to the low frequency transformer. Then bridge rectifier is used here and filter circuit is used here, and therefore voltage across these two terminals is about 350 volts. Now this is the oscillator section. Using these 4 transistor oscillator section is made here. This is the transformer again. AC voltage is developed across the 2 secondary of the transformer here. See, this is one of the bridge rectifier. 4 diodes are used here to make the 12 volt DC voltage. Again here 4 diodes are used in the secondary sections. This is the filter section in the power supply. This is filter section. These are the 4 sections are called filter sections. And if we measure voltage across this is plus 12 volt, voltage across these two terminals minus 12 volt, voltage across this plus 5 volt, voltage across these two terminals minus 5 volts. And these load resistances are connected here in every power supply. If we connect a millimeter here, we can measure the load voltage across the load here. All switches are used here. If levers of the all switches are taking in downward directions, then there will be no fault introduced in the circuits. If F1, lever of the switch F1 is pulled in upward directions, then particular fault is introduced. In this case, the DC voltage, output DC voltage will not produced. Only voltage in the high section is produced. All the output voltage will be disappeared. That means such type of fault can be introduced here. That means in every switch there is a particular fault. So by the use of every switch at a time to make lever of that switch in upward directions, particular fault can be introduced. This is the restart switch here. This is the power on off switch. This is the power indicator. This is the pulse width controller section is there. There are various points are shown here. We have to measure the voltage at every point with respect to this point here. This is the output indicator. If this indicator glows, then output voltage 12 volt and 5 volts is produced here. This is the construction of the experimental set. Now we shall see the working of switch mode power supply trainer. For that purpose I am switching on the trainer. Again this is power on switch is made on now. All the switches, fault switches are taken in downward directions. This is the restart switch. If restart switch is pressed, this indicator should be off. Now we shall measure the voltages at different sections. This is the high voltage section, so we shall measure the high voltages in the high voltage sections. Care should be taken here to measure the voltage, otherwise we will get the shocked. Here these 2 points produces the voltage of 230 AC volts, so I have kept a multimeter at 750 volt Now I am measuring the voltage between these two terminals. See, voltage is 230 volts. Now between these two terminals there is a DC voltage, and due to that filter capacitor voltage is boosted. That means about 300 volts DC voltage is there. So I am putting this rotary switch to the DC 1000 volt here, and I am measuring the voltage between the test point 3 and test point 4. See, DC voltage is about 334 volt. And now we shall measure the voltages at the outputs. I am switching this multimeter to the 20 volt range. Now we shall measure the voltage across the two terminals. It should be about 12 volt, plus 12 volt. See, this is about plus 12 volt. This voltage across these two terminals should be minus 12 volt. See, it is minus about 12 volt. Voltage across these two terminals should be plus 5 volt. See, this is the plus 5 volt, and voltage across these two terminals should be minus 5 volt. See, this minus 5 volt. Voltage across the load resistance, if millimeter is connected here, then voltage can be measured across the load resistance. Now we shall measure the voltages at different points. Test point 5, test point 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 with respect to this test point 13. This is the test point 13. By putting this black terminal of the multimeter here, and DC voltage can be measured at every test point. This is test point 5 voltage can be measured here. That is the 2.4 volt. This is the test point 6, that is 5 volt. Test point 7 voltage is 5.1. Test point 8 voltage is 0. Test point 9 voltage is 5 volt. Test point 10 voltage is 4.8 volt. At the test point 11 voltage is 1.4 volt, and test point 12 voltage is 0 volt. Now we shall see the working of fault switch. First we shall pull the lever of the fault switch F1 in upward directions. Then what will happen? See, this indicator goes off. That means there will be no output voltage. Only voltage will be produced at the high voltage section. Otherwise voltage at every point will be 0. Now we shall confirm. We have to measure the AC 230 volts. I am putting switch to the 750 range, and I am measuring this voltage. See, this is 230 volts. Now here DC voltage is about 350 volts. I am putting switch to the DC 1000 volt and measuring the voltage across test point 3 and test point 4 is, that is 356 volt. And now see, there will be no output voltage. I am putting this switch, the multimeter, at the 20 volts range. Here see, voltage is 0. Across this voltage is 0. Again, voltage across these 2 points is also 0. Voltage across these 2 points are also 0. That means this particular fault is introduced by making the lever of F1 in upward directions. In this way, various faults can be introduced in the circuit by the use of these toggle switches. This is the working of the switch mode power supply. Thank you.
परफेक्ट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्सचे संपूर्ण ऑटोमॅटिक ऑटो लेक्चर बेल आणि ऑटो राष्ट्रगीत प्लेअर सिस्टीम शाळा कॉलेजसाठी अत्यंत उपयुक्त. उत्पादक परफेक्ट इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स MIDC वाई. फ्री डेमोसाठी संपर्क 98 222 41 255.